The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
We are just one day away from the Jets and the Titans, and Rex Ryan has a bold prediction for how this one will play out. The Buffalo Jet fan is going to join me. It's the Jake Asman Show, so let's hit it and get it started.
Man, our Jets are primed for a historic season.
Great game. I know Aaron Rodgers did well tonight. Look, it's only one game. Everybody's complaining that the season's over. Week 2, they're playing Tennessee. We're going to win. I guarantee that they're going to win 37-29.
We bleed Jet green each and every day. This is not the same old Jet. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. Let's go. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. The Jet bandwagon is loaded. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
We have a watch party tomorrow. Come on down to T-Squared Social in Midtown Manhattan, located just 2 minutes from Grand Central Station, right next to Bryant Park, and join us for an afternoon of Jets football. The game will be on all the TVs, plus Red Zone and some of the other top games. The Jet game will have the speakers on. It is going to be an awesome environment. So if you're looking for a great spot to watch the game with your fellow Asmaniacs, come on down to T-Squared Social tomorrow. I'll be there at noon. Kickoff is at 1. It's free to attend. All you need to do is click on the RSVP link in the description, sign up, and you are good to go. Joining us right now is someone we consider a dear friend of this channel. He's one of the best Jet content creators out there. We say hello to the Buffalo Jet fan who joins us here for a Saturday program. BJF, welcome aboard, my man. Hope all is well.
All will be a lot better when the Jets are 2-1 in 5 days, man. Once that it went final on Monday night, I was like, as bad as this is, just be 2-1 in 10 days, right? And then we'll take it from there. Win two games,
true.
You should win.
So true. So the Jets start the year off 3 games, 11 days. 0-1, okay. I think when the schedule first came out and everyone gives their predictions, this was a game a lot of people circled as an L. That's fine. But now the Jets are in a very unique spot in this game tomorrow, BJF. They're in a spot where they are a road favorite, which is rare under Robert Saleh. And it's a game that they're expected to win. And when you just look at the quarterbacks, right, it's very rare over the last 15 years the Jets have had a significant advantage at the most important position in sports. I say all that to say they better win tomorrow. And then you're right. We focus on that home opener. And at this time a week from now, this team should be 2-1.
Yeah, it's still hard to bake that in, the fact that we have like the significantly better quarterback. Like my default is like, all right, the defense has to show up like Breece. It still hasn't really clicked to me that, you know, we could underperform in some other areas and still beat a team like Tennessee, who, by the way, I think the Jets should win. They're 3.5 road favorites for a reason. By no means am I writing off the Tennessee Titans. I think particularly the way they show that they could run the football with Tony Pollard and then that leaned into our weakness. So by no means am I overlooking them, but the bottom line is it's a game that you should win. And I still don't think there's such thing as a must win week 2 game. I'm not at a panic after week 1, but if they do lose, the panic meter goes to a hard 9. If you go to 0-2, because the NFL, you know, it gets away from you quickly, then you're pretty much playing for your season on Thursday night. Because if you go 0-3, you're toast. So it's a game you should definitely win. I guess I'll put it that way.
Yeah, you know, I talked about this yesterday with Boy Green on the show. It's hard to call it a must win in week 2, but it's like a can't lose. Like if you want to be a serious team, you can't lose to Will Levis and the Titans. And I know the Titans have some good players, but I'm sorry. Will Levis has the lowest completion percentage since he's been a starter in the NFL. I think it's a great matchup for the Jet defense. I would basically say this. If you're the Jets, you got to play the Zach Wilson defense against Will Levis. You know, stack the box, dare Levis to beat you, trust your corners, and go out there, force some turnovers, and find a way to win this game.
Yeah, I think that'll probably be the blueprint. I think if you're the Titans, you're going to run the ball into the Jets so they can stop it. And with the run defense, I, it's not like the Jets were a horrendous run defense last year. The run defense was more vulnerable than the pass defense, but they were like 11th in yards per carry allowed. Obviously, there was a lot of situations where the volume of rushing they allowed was dictated by the lopsided scores they were in the second halves of games. So I don't think all of a sudden, you lose Al Woods or NJFM, and now you're going to be the worst run defense in the league. But that's all the opponent has to go off of in week one, and that's probably where they're going to start. So I expect the Jets to maybe go with a little bit meatier of a front, maybe more Jamie and Sherwood early. Maybe a guy like Jalen Holmes, who I thought was one of the few players on the defensive line who played above my expectations, as a player who can kind of play some big end stuff. So we'll see how they adjust. But I have a feeling that I agree with you. I think the Jets are going to come out and say, you know what? If Will Levis is cutting up Sauce Gardner and Michael Carter, then so be it. We're not going to lose the way we lost week one.
We're talking with the Buffalo Jet fan. If you have a question for BJF or a comment you want read, make sure you super chat it in. And of course, hit the like button right now and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. It helps this show continue to grow as we talk Jets each and every day. Want to play you something from former Jets coach Rex Ryan. He was a guest on Bart and Hahn earlier this week, and Rex is being Rex. He is all in on the Jets bouncing back in this game tomorrow against the Titans.
I just think it's going to go much better this week. I think they'll do a good job stopping the run, force Levis into passing, and when that happens, Katie bar the door because here comes this pass rush. I truly believe it. I think it was an anomaly. I hope it was, and we'll see this week.
If you're a coach, how are you spinning this to a positive that, hey, they got that humble pie on the first game? They can come back and scorch earth, play pissed off for the next 4 games and potentially be 4-1, going into another test in Buffalo, but then maybe go there with a different sense of purpose and chemistry.
Yeah, I think part of it is that, hey, look, you can't just lay your jock out there. We got to show up. Everybody has to show up. And if you think people are going to be intimidated because, you got a Jet uniform on, you're sadly mistaken. And I think it's, the humble pie thing could be good if the reaction's good. Now, here's the thing. What happens if they lose a couple of these games in the next 4?
Well, Aaron Rodgers never been 0-2, right? I believe I just saw a thing go on the bottom.
Isn't that a crazy stat?
Aaron Rodgers has never been 0-2 in his life.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I thought he was going to play really bad in that opener. And the reason I thought
you told us
was, remember, I told you guys, nobody wanted to listen, but it's real. Like, it's real. You haven't been, and in that case, he really hadn't been in the ring for a couple of years. So, to me, I wasn't surprised. And quite honestly, he played better than I thought. It's just the rest of the team didn't. But now he'll come back. The fact he's never been 0-2 just tells you how really good this guy is. But they're not going to be 0-2 in this one either. There's no way.
There's no way. All right. Rex Ryan says there's no way the Jets will be 0-2. One, your thoughts on that. And two, BJF, I think the question Bart asked Rex about, hey, the Jets basically getting humbled in week one and how that could maybe bring this team together and get them to lock in. I don't hate that point. Like, to me, I go back to the 2010 Jets. They were awful week one against the Ravens in that opener, and then they bounced back, beat the Patriots, started 9-2 that year. Like, sometimes getting that little humble pie early, especially, for a team that has such high hopes, maybe not the worst thing in the world, especially for a defense that uncharacteristically played poor. You would expect the pride factor to be big in this one tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't off the top of my head recall over the last 2 years, like 2 games in a row where the Jets defense laid an egg. They've had their moments, like the Browns got them pretty good. The Dallas game comes to mind from last year. I think the Seahawks game when it was like, the Mike White of 2022, but I can't remember 2 games in a row. And particularly the week one performance, that was one of the first times where it was like for 4 quarters. Cause we've had typically the defense, even if it's a little loose in the first half, they buckle down. So that's not going to happen. They're going to come out with something to play for. And the offense, ironically, even though we had like 13 points on the board until garbage time on week one, I actually kind of came away a little bit encouraged with the offense. And I know like people will say that's just a cope. Look, man, if the Jets got things wrong with them, I'll point it out. So right or wrong, it's just my opinion. We're going to get to the coaching staff, and I think I'm probably not going to have a ton of warm and fuzzy things to say, to be honest, and that's fine. But look, Aaron Rodgers' brain and his arm still work, right? He was getting the ball out, and there were a couple of throws like the ones to Lazard. Those are plays where if it was, a Zach or Boyle or Simeon, you'd replay the film and you'd say, look, no one's open. No, but they are. They are if you have Aaron Rodgers and he can give you an 18-yard handoff down the sideline to Allen Lazard. They are if you have Aaron Rodgers and he can trust Garrett Wilson to go up and make a back shoulder play and just get rid of the ball quickly. So Rodgers, his ability to diagnose and get the ball and the pass protection. So we have Aaron Rodgers who can still throw, and you have an offensive line who can protect them. The mobility, I think that's probably just going to be what it looks like as a 41-year-old quarterback off of an Achilles. I don't think he's going to go pick up a 3rd and 9 with his legs like he used to in his prime. I think we all kind of baked that into this season. And Breece Hall is not going to get, 2.2 yards per carry the rest of the season. So I'm very confident the offense can go out there and put up 24 to 27 points. And I just don't see a world in which the defense lets up more than that. So I don't want to go ahead and say it's a guarantee or that the Titans have no chance, but I'm feeling pretty confident. And I think they're going to come out and it's going to be one of those games where it's like 10-0 right away. And it's a complete like stamped bounce back game. I'm hoping for that. And I think it's a realistic expectation.
Maybe this is just the inner Jet fan of me, but if they had won on Monday, I'd be more nervous about this game tomorrow, as weird as that is. Because like you could see like the Jets like feeling too good about themselves and we just show up and
trap game for sure.
Trap game for sure with short week against New England in the home opener. But because they lost and the defense had an uncharacteristically awful performance for their standards, I expect the defense to play really well. And, the pass protection is as good as it was on Monday in this game tomorrow. I think the Jets are going to score multiple touchdowns in this game. Like Aaron Rodgers looked good with limited snaps. Now, if you get the run game going with Breece as well, I do see the Jets being able to score at least 3 touchdowns, and you should be able to prevent the Titans from scoring 3 touchdowns. So if you just do the math based on that and your quarterback versus their quarterback, like this has to be a win for the Jets, even if it's a little rainy tomorrow, even if maybe they start a little slow. Like it could be a game going into the 4th, but I expect the Jets to pull away if they haven't already.
Yeah, and it might be one of the biggest quarterback mismatches heading into this week with Rodgers versus Levis. And the offense's biggest problem, I know that it felt like a vanilla. It felt a little preseason-esque, to be honest. Yep. I know they didn't play in the preseason. It was a little run, pass. Not a lot of any motion sweeps or any sort of like creativity. Not a lot of throws past the sticks on early downs. But the biggest problem with the offense in week 1 was they weren't on the field enough because the time of possession was so lopsided. The defense allowed 8 straight scoring drives, which is the first time the Jets have done that in like 45 years. I think Rich Sweeney pointed out. So, and then you had like little things like the Lazard drop, the Breece Hall dropped the pass, and a fumble. You had a penalty. You had Garrett Wilson who couldn't get the second foot in, which was kind of almost like a drop. You had the play where Breece Hall got a first down. So, and Robert Saleh didn't challenge it. So it was just like those little execution things. I don't think in terms of game plan, it's hard to even get a sense of game planning or they didn't involve Conklin. Like he only threw 21 passes, and the guys who he was throwing into were making plays for the most part. So. I think I'm not really worried about the offense. The defense, you're not going to go from a top 5 defense to bad in one offseason. I do think there's going to be some regression with the pass rush without Reddick. But I still think, it's too early I have too big of a sample size on the defense to jump ship. If the Jets had just hired this defensive coaching staff and brought in all these new free agents on defense. And, we were a bad defense last year. And now they were trying to sell you, we're going to be a good defense. And that's what they did. Okay, fine. But I can't erase 2 years of memory of top 5 defensive play because of one game.
If you're watching live right now, make sure you guys please click that thumbs up button. That's the like button, and subscribe to the channel. We're talking with the Buffalo Jet fan, great content creator. So make sure you guys check out his YouTube channel covering the Jets as well. To me, the biggest thing with the defense is they just got to tackle better. Like, sure, there were some alignment issues if you watch back the film. And, I thought Leger Douzable on his Twitter account did a great job kind of showing you what it's supposed to look like. And he played in this scheme under Saleh when they were both with the Niners together. So I thought that was enlightening. But to me, just watching it back, they missed 18 tackles. It was the most in the NFL. It looked like a defense they didn't play in the preseason that obviously played a really good, well-coached team on the other side. If the Jets just tackle better, I think that solves a lot of the issues we saw on Monday if you just start there.
Yeah, that was the single biggest takeaway. And they were league average in missed tackle rate last year. And the guy who had the most missed tackles on the team last year was Jordan Whitehead, who's gone. So they're not going to be the worst tackling team in the league again. I think Tony Adams is a player who's just still a little bit of a ways away from being like a completely rounded starting safety. He's got some great athleticism. I thought he had some. I know there were completions, but I actually thought he had some pretty impressive man coverage reps against Ayuk. Like, yeah, they converted on that third down, but he was right there on a bang play. So when they go cover one and they try to take advantage of him in the slot, he holds up pretty well there. But against the run, he's taken some of those, those early Ashton Davis years angles are definitely showing up with Tony there. He's got to get that cleaned up. Sauce, I think, is going to be a below average tackler. He's the best cover corner in the sport. So no, he's not going to be Revis in terms of that complete, like who can tackle like a safety, but he's also not going to miss 4 tackles every game. So that's just something that has to get better. I think this is going to be a nice, an evening out game for the Jets defense where we can start to get a little bit of more of a sample size and say, okay, even if there are some areas of concern, like, that's just not going to happen again. They're not going to allow 170 yards. I can guarantee. If you can find a prop bet on that, Tony Pollard's not going for 170 yards, whatever that Mason guy went for, right?
100%. Now, you brought up Reddick earlier. Here we are, seemingly another game he will not be a part of, another game check he's missing. I'm shocked we are this far into this. What's your take on where we go from here? Do we see Haason Reddick? I mean, with a short week now on Thursday, I doubt he's playing Thursday. So, if it is going to get done, seemingly after the Pats game on Thursday, where there's 10 days before the next game against Denver, would possibly be the time. But at this point, everyone's always asking me. I have no idea because I never thought we'd get this far along where he wouldn't be with the team.
No, I mean, my guess is as good as yours or anybody's in the chat, man. It's only one person knows, right? And that's Haason. And there's been a bunch of times where I'm like, okay, like this date, right? And then that date comes and goes. You're like, oh, okay, well, the start of the regular season. Oh, okay, well, this week. Now, really, the next big stopping point would be week 10 to week 11, because that's the point at which, if he's still on the did not report list, the Jets would retain his contract for the following season. Now, he could show up and he could show up and fake an injury. Like, it could get really ugly. So for me, I'm putting Haason Reddick out of sight, out of mind. He's obviously a phenomenal player. I think the fact that he was like a luxury, I pushed back on that stuff. I'm like, man, you don't trade it for a guy and offer him an extension. Extensions don't come with pay decreases. He's getting $15 million in year one. You're offering him an extension with a raise and a day 2 pick to boot. That's the most significant veteran investment Joe Douglas has made besides Aaron Rodgers. That's not a luxury. The Jets have had one player have 10 sacks and 60 plus pressures since John Abraham. That was Bryce Huff. He's gone. Haason Reddick can do that. That's not a luxury. But at the same time, do I want the Jets to bend over backwards and fork over this guy a 3-year, $80 million deal? No. So I can't pound the table for the Jets to do something because I don't know what his demands are. And it sounds like his demands are probably unreasonable. So I think in that week 1 game, they actually probably missed the run defense of John Franklin Myers a little bit more. Haason Reddick was not going to win you that game. No one single player was going to make the difference in that game. But it just sucks, man. I can't remember a situation like this because I don't know what he thinks he's going to gain by this. I mean, there's no way he makes this money back. If he sits out the whole year, even until week 10, there's no way he ends up a richer man than if he had just played. It doesn't make any sense.
None of it has. And it's just amazing that here we are and there's still no end in sight. Breakdown with a super chat to get us rolling here. Super chats cut the line on the show and they help fund my Chipotle for dinner, potentially this evening, Buffalo Jeff N. So here we go. Does Bob, leader of men's Salah, need to be tougher on his players like how I imagine Dable to be? I'll say this. I don't know if Dable's the best comp right now. I mean, Giants fans are very much down on him. Look, with Salah, I think it simply comes down to this. Win games, man. And last year they won 7 without a quarterback. I'm not jumping off the Salah can't coach because they lost to maybe the best team in the league Monday night. Now, they lose to the Titans, as you said. It changes everything. The panic meter is way different. Then we're going to have talks this week. If they lose to New England on Thursday, do you fire the coach if you're 0-3? So I don't even want to go there. But, I'll say this. We don't know what Salah's like behind closed doors. I know the team loves him. They play hard for him. But let's see. This is a big showing tomorrow for Saleh and this staff? How do they respond after they got punched in the mouth on Monday?
Yeah, I think that if you lose, people are going to question everything about your process, and if you win, it's just going to be like Pete Carroll would chew gum and clap hands and be super positive. There's other coaches, who kind of tear into their players. So at the end of the day, it has to be the result on the field. With Saleh, yeah, I think I've defended Saleh in the fact that I didn't agree with people saying like it didn't matter that you lost your quarterback. And like you're supposed to figure it out playing third string quarterbacks, because there's just not a lot of examples of teams doing that. Even like the Browns, they went 500 without their starter in Watson. And that was so impressive. They gave Kevin Stefanski Coach of the Year. People say, oh, Mike Tomlin did a thing. Mike Tomlin's going to the Hall of Fame. So no, Robert Saleh is not going to the Hall of Fame. No, Robert Saleh is not winning Coach of the Year. With Saleh, look, man, I think at the end of the day, I look at it like this. If I was a fan of another team and we had a coaching vacancy, and we were doing a show like this and somebody said, hey, should we hire Robert Saleh to be our head coach and Nate Hackett to be our offensive coordinator? I'd probably say hard pass, right? It just is what it is. Like we're judging that off of imperfect information, but that's probably where I'm at on Saleh at this point. I think he's probably a really good defensive coordinator who's one spot over his skis. That's my opinion right now. Go ahead and win 5 games in a row. Happy to change my mind on Saleh. But I think the Jets are talented enough to where they could still compete to win this division. And then we'll see how far, the coaching and everything else takes them from there. But I think they're still talented enough to go punch for punch with the Buffalo Bills and try and win this division. No better way to get it started than by winning tomorrow.
Have to take advantage. No doubt about it. Dre with a super chat. JETS, Jets. Let's go, baby. We got this. Stay focused. BJF, what are your keys for a Jet win on Sunday?
Oh, man. So I think you got to take advantage of the matchups on the defensive line to offensive line. JC Latham is a road grading run blocker, but he gave up 6 pressures and a sack. So that's a spot where, Will McDonald, we got to see. I'm a big fan of Will McDonald, but you only get so long. We got to see something. So, and I think that could be a good matchup for his speed. And Quinn Williams versus Peter Skoronski, who struggled as well. That's a big one. So make Will Levis's life hell would be my number one key. I also would like to see like a little bit more horizontal spacing on offense. So whether that's like jet motion sweeps or quick screens, I think they can open up the offense, get the tight ends involved a little bit more. But my first thing is you got to make Will Levis uncomfortable, even if you have to blitz a little bit more. I'm saying I'm daring Will Levis to beat us. And if it gets clipped up and it's like, oh my gosh, he has the best game of his career and that's how we lose, then okay, it is what it is. You got to make Will Levis beat you. And I wouldn't mind to see Braylon Allen a little bit. I think week 1, they just had so few plays that were like, shit, man, if we're only going to play 40 plays, then we'll just play Brees, right? But I do think you drafted this kid in the 4th round for a reason. By all accounts, had a really good summer. So on those 4th and 1s, I think that's the kind of player where you bring in and it's like, they know you're running it, you're running it, but you could still pick up a first down. I think you got to be able to convert plays like that in this league. So I wouldn't mind to see Braylon Allen a little bit more. Mike Williams, even if it's just 1 or 2 fade balls, just to making the defense start respecting that. You get a pass interference call. I'd like to see that. I like to see more throws past the line of scrimmage on 3rd. And look, all this stuff is going to happen. They're going to open up the offense, right? Yep. That's not going to be the offense the whole year. So all this stuff is coming. I think we all know that. But yeah, it was a little run pass week 1 where it was like a 3-yard gain on first down and then another run. And now it's like 3rd and 4. And you're kind of relying on to convert like 4 or 5 third downs to score, which by the way, Jake, crazy stat for you, that Aaron Rodgers touchdown drive, which was like the best moment of Jets quarterback history, just that single drive alone, where they converted the 3 third downs in a row to score a touchdown. That's the first time that a Jets quarterback has converted 3 third downs of 5 yards or more on a touchdown drive since Joe Flacco's miracle in Cleveland in the early part of the 2022 season. So almost 2 full seasons. Like there's all kinds of analytical records that Aaron Rodgers actually like broke in a bad, mediocre performance week 1. So all that stuff is coming, man. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Rodgers lights it up and throws 3 or 4 touchdowns in this game.
I could see him having a big game because you're right. Like it's so limited with just 38 total snaps, but there were a couple plays here or there that after not playing a full game in a year and a half, you could see him cleaning up a couple of the throws out of the backfield that I'm sure he'd want back. The throw to Garrett on the sideline, that one miscommunication where he threw the bomb to Garrett and they were not on the same page. Like you saw Lazard have the game he had because he's played with Aaron before. Just give this offense some more reps. with Aaron Rodgers, and I think they're going to look good. I mean, the pass protection to me was probably the most encouraging sign besides Aaron in this game on Monday, because if they can protect him, we know the brain and the arm is as good as ever still for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and even the run game, I'm not worried about at all, because there's no way that this offensive line is going to run block worse than last year's offensive line. And what did Breece Hall do last year? So like that's going to be fine, right?
100%. And look, I mean, that drive that ended with the Breece touchdown that you're talking about, where they converted on 3rd and long, it's like, that's quarterbacking, man. Like, we at the watch party I did on Monday, we had people going nuts cheering as Rodgers is calling stuff out at the line, we're just like, this is what quarterbacking is like. The Jets have not had a quarterback who could adjust protections at the line of scrimmage since 2015 Fitz. Like, it's been a decade.
Maybe Josh McCown.
Maybe like, it's, oh my God, crazy. Rat Diddy says, BJF, always the voice of reason. Much appreciated.
I try to be, man, not during the games, but cooler heads prevail.
Yes. 2-1 at this point a week from now. That's the goal.
Yep. It's a reasonable goal, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Helping the Chipotle Fund. Appreciate what you do. Thank you, my man. Glenn Q coming through. How about Angel Rivera? He's like, I don't want anyone to gift me a membership. I'll do it the old-fashioned way. He became an Asmaniac by hitting that join button. Thank you, Angel. We got a super chat here from Edward Ziffer, writes in, the O needs better package with multiple running backs, play action off 1st and 2nd down situations. Can't do run, pass anymore. Use Braylon Allen and Mike Williams. Yeah, and we were just talking about this. I'd love to see a deep shot early to Mike Williams just to say, hey, we're airing it out. Like, we're not just going to do run, pass again. We're going to spread it out. I'd like to see the Jets open things up a little bit more, assuming that they're now all on the same page after, one game going through it with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and even some of those checks that Aaron Rodgers made, which I did notice, like the plays that were successful were the ones that Aaron Rodgers was changing at the line of scrimmage, go figure. I think that him himself, like getting hit, like to me, ironically, when Aaron Rodgers took that first hit, it kind of felt good. I was like, all right, like just to get that out of the way, because you're just
got up. Yep.
You got, like, I was just watching. I'm like, okay, is he up? Is he good? What's going on? So I think he needed to take some shots, and now like he'll be more comfortable. Like if he sees something in alignment, the first play of the game, he might check and say, let's kill this. Let's go play action. I'm gonna take a deep shot. That probably wasn't something he was comfortable doing in the first half against the 49ers in his first game back. He's a Hall of Famer, all that, but he's still human, and he's still coming off of a significant injury, and the dude who hurt him is lining up across the other way and all that stuff. So he'll probably be more confident to let that stuff rip. It was nice also to watch the offense and just be a fan, because for so long we've had play calling to where it's like, as a fan, you could see stuff and you almost would know better what to do. Right. But now it's like there's actually a professional in Aaron Rodgers who can see stuff. And it's like, oh, what's he saying? I don't know. What's he noticing? Oh, let's see. We could just watch and be a fan. Isn't that nice? Because what he's going to do is smarter than what I would think, which is a nice change. So the offense is definitely going to be opened up again. They just didn't have enough plays. Even things like you mentioned with Garrett, some stuff that's just getting chemistry with Rodgers. There was I forget who was breaking it down. There was a couple of like former pros. I think it was Chase Daniel, who was saying how on the 4th and 1, when they went to Garrett Wilson, like he was supposed to keep running that drag route like across the field, but he cut it up the field. So the throw was behind him. And he and Aaron were talking about on the sideline, like that kind of stuff is going to get cleaned up as well.
No doubt. And look, at the end of the day, you got through week 1. Aaron had moments where he looked like Aaron Rodgers, came through healthy. Right. I'm expecting him to play well tomorrow. I'm expecting this offense to be able to play well tomorrow. So I'm right there with you. Just the confidence you had, even when they were down in this game, the reason why we felt like they still had a chance after we saw Rodgers throw that bomb on the hard count to Lazard is because you had Aaron Rodgers, right? Like you had confidence. Hey, just get the ball back to the offense, and they got a shot. And that's what I think made Monday so disappointing. Not that they lost, but the way they lost, because you come out of halftime down 16-7. We've seen the Jets the last 2 years make their halftime adjustments, get off the field in the second half. And that 11-play drive where they couldn't stop the run and the Niners go right down the field, that was so disappointing, because you felt like, hey, if you got to stop, got it back to Aaron down only 16-7, you're going to score and you're going to be right back in this game.
Yeah, I did not have that on my bingo card, that the defense getting – and even I think it's even more demoralizing to get it like 6 and 7 yards at a time on the ground, like death by 1,000 paper cuts. So yeah, they're going to be better. that's the most yards they've given up to a running back since the Jonathan Taylor blowout on the road in Indy. So, and that was I believe that was 21. So that was before the defense has even been
White
good.
got hurt in that game after he threw a touchdown in the opening drive, and Josh Johnson came in and looked great. And it was like, how could all these quarterbacks look great and Zach Wilson can't?
Yeah, Josh Johnson legacy game for sure.
Man, hit the like button if you're tuned in. There's 450 of you watching live, only 100 likes. So let's get those like numbers up. We're always seeking channel memberships. They are the lifeline of the show. We have more channel emojis we want to add. So please consider hitting the join button, or make sure that you turn on gift receipts and someone might gift you a channel membership. The big fella with a super chat, he says, we're ready for the Titans. Let's hope Salah is too. You know, it's so funny, right? If the Jets defense plays well, Ulbrich gets all the credit, right? And they play poorly, Salah gets all the blame. And on offense now, fair or unfair, any bad play, Hackett gets the criticism. Any good play, it's all Aaron Rodgers. So all these guys could do is just win and hope over time the fan base will come around to them. But they're kind of in tough spots from the standpoint of, you know, if they do good, they don't get the credit. And anytime there's something bad, they get all the blame.
Yeah, the Hackett-Rodgers dichotomy. I mean, it's funny, but it is kind of like logical. Like, I do understand why fans would have that mentality. Salah definitely does deserve some. Though the entire defensive staff, really top to bottom, is good. Like Odin and Manuel in the secondary are good coaches. Aaron Whitecotton, I think one of those guys will probably. I know a couple of them. I forget if it was Odin or Manuel. One of our secondary coaches got a couple rounds of DC interviews. So the defensive coaching staff is good. The special teams coordinator, obviously, he's been here for 4 coaching changes for a reason. He's good. You just have, I think you have a known like bad OC in Hackett, who you're hoping is mitigated by a Hall of Fame veteran. And you have Salah, who from here on out, him and Joe Douglas are just going to be judged by the win and loss column.
It's just one of those things, man, where until you win, you can't change the perception. It's the only way to do it. Edward, super chat, Brees and Braylon on field together and do play action. All right, Coach Edward. I don't hate it. I'd like to see Braylon Allen more involved, but as you said, BGF, sometimes you just need more plays.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind to see it. There was also Connor Rogers tweeted out or shared somebody else's tweet just before I hopped on. I saw that the Bills actually used an extra. Their 6th offensive lineman, they've used them in 23 snaps so far this season in 2 games, which is quite a bit, 11, 12 snaps a game. I do wonder if an Olu jumbo package exists. It's a little max protector, a little extra juice in the run game, but they probably lean on Ruckert. They, I do wonder if the extra usage of Ruckert was something that they felt was a good matchup for San Francisco, or is it that they're more comfortable with Rucker than they are with like their wide receiver depth at this point, while Mike Williams is still come back healthy. So that's something to watch. Was that a one-off because it was San Fran, or is that just kind of where they see their pass catching unit at, where they would just rather go 12 personnel more than play a 3rd or 4th receiver?
Feed the Fat Rabbit has become an official Asmaniac. Let's go. Love it. Feed the Fat Rabbit. I hope the Jets are feeding Brees and scoring touchdowns tomorrow. Feeding Aaron Rodgers as he's slinging it all across Nashville tomorrow afternoon. Reminder for those tuning in, watch parties tomorrow. We still got plenty of space if you want to come out, bring your crew, anyone you want, friends, significant others. There's something for everyone. T-Squared Social will have the Jets game on most of the TVs, Red Zone and some of the other top games on as well. It's going to be a blast. So we'll see you all tomorrow at T-Squared Social in Midtown Manhattan. This is a super chat here from the great Altoona Sandwich. He says the Jets lost Monday night because Charles Gorman did not come to T-Squared Social. You could argue Charles not being there, BJF, played a significant role in the Jets' outcome on Monday.
It probably bigger than Reddick not being there, for being honest.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. Now, I did want to get your thoughts on this. You're obviously well aware of what the lane train means to this show, to the Asmaniac community. He's the one who discovered Knoble. He's the guy that kind of takes this show to a new level. He offered a big-time prediction for this game. I want your take.
Great game. I know Aaron Rodgers did well tonight. Look, it's only 1 game. Everybody's complaining that the season's over. Week 2, they're playing Tennessee. We're going to win. I guarantee that they're going to win 37-29.
Interesting number. I wonder if that's a scoreigami there, 37-29. I would be surprised if the Titans put up 29 points on the Jets, but hey, I don't care. If the Jets win 10-9, and I really don't care. No excuses for losing, no apologies for winning. But I think a score like 27-17 Jets is probably where I'm kind of feeling.
Yeah, I definitely could see something like that. I had 24-14. That's where I'm at right now. I just don't see the defense playing that poor again. I really don't. Like, I think they got too much pride. There's too many good players, too many good coaches on that side of the ball for that defense to have anywhere close of a similar performance.
Right, and even if they give up some plays, I think they'll be able to force at least one. They didn't force a turnover against the Niners, and I think Levis is, he's got some intriguing traits. I call him creatine Zach Wilson, but he's got some intriguing traits. He's got a really strong arm. He's athletic. He's super yoked, but he definitely, his brain malfunctions from time to time. As you saw, did you see that interception he threw week 1 with the?
Oh yeah,
where he that was. Credit to Zach. That was worse than any Zach Wilson interception there's ever been. I will credit Zach there. So yeah, he definitely got to find a way to, I think, force 2 turnovers, right? And then there's just no way that Aaron Rodgers is going to underplay a game in which you win the turnover battle by 2. So
Rodgers never has been 0-2 in his career. Sign me up. Sign me up. Today's Jake Asman show, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, is presented by my friends at Huga House. So I thought these were going to sell out yesterday. That's what I was told. I checked this morning. It looks like they still have a few left. So if you want the year 20 Aaron Rodgers hats that Huga House made, no, they're not Breece Hall hats, but I guess they can be. The Breece Hall, Aaron Rodgers, Huga House hat. Go right now. Use promo code Asman at HugaHouse.com, and you can get this hat 15% off. And by the way, if you buy one hat from Huga House, the second hat you get is actually 30% off. So get the hat that I'm always rocking, that Rodgers is always rocking, the specialty year 20 hat from Huga House. Mine should be arriving today, so I'm excited about that. Promo code Asman at checkout for 15% off. They're selling out by the end of today. There's no way they're not. So I would go quickly if you, in fact, still want one. All right, comments, questions, super chats, keep sending those in. Let's take some calls on the Gus Buster Umbrella hotline. We check in first up with Jerome, the Packer fan. Hey, Jerome, what's going on?
What's going on, Jake? Buffalo Jet fan, how you doing?
Good, man.
Yeah, it's a lot to be encouraged about, man. As I was telling you last week, Jake and Buffalo Jet fan, sometimes you run into a buzzsaw. The 49ers was a buzzsaw. So, although the defense played poorly, you kind of got to chalk some of it up to them, the 49ers being the 49ers. In no world, in no dimension, do I believe the Jets should be losing to the Tennessee Titans. I think Aaron Rodgers, because he played well against the 49ers, he was able to move the ball pretty fluid. And if he's able to do that against the 49ers, he's going to have a field day with the Tennessee Titans. And so I suspect that y'all are going to go up pretty early in that game and have Levis on his heels. And he's going to have to play desperate and play from behind. And that's when the defense can eat. So, yes, I believe they should sell out to stack the box, dare Levis to beat him, because you can't have a poor performance like that again for the defense, and to put that game to bed early. That's what I suspect going to happen. My prediction is a 28-13 affair.
Jerome, I will sign for that. I can see that being very realistic. I just, if this defense is who we think they are, and they should still be even without Reddick, they should not allow the Titans to score more than 20 points in this game. Like, they keep them under 20. Jets offense should be capable of scoring at least 21, if not more, and they should win this game.
Yep. And I agree with the starting off early, an early lead, and starting to make the Titans as one-dimensional as possible, because they're going to want to give, Pollard 25 touches. So, you get out to a quick 10-0 lead and then set because the pass rush was not good in week 1, but it is really tough to rush the passer when you're immediately on, first, second, and 3, and then all the third downs are short and they're getting the ball out quick. As Robert Saleh says, like, you have to earn the right to rush the passer. So, yeah, you gotta get them in 2nd and 8 and then 3rd and 6 to give your pass rush a shot, but also having a lead will go a long way as well.
Jake Klein says, anyone else thrilled we signed McGovern? Yeah, I mean, a guy who could start, play guard, play center, good depth. I mean, I wanted him months ago. I'm glad they got it done.
Yeah, I think that they probably added him here because if you add him after the first game, then he's basically on a week-to-week contract. So his money is not guaranteed at all. So I think that was probably a handshake agreement for a while, if I had to guess. But it makes sense even without the Wes Schweitzer injury. Connor McGovern, I would take him over Jake Hansen or Xavier Newman. And then when Schweitzer went down, it kind of became a necessity. So yeah, no brainer, as Robert Sala put it. I agree.
Ryan, who's watching on X, says, Buffalo and Jake, do we have concerns for CJ Mosley? Losing him is losing an identity for the D. Well, Mosley's healthy. I mean, is he what he once was? Probably not. He's an older player, 10 years in the league, but he's still a damn good linebacker. So, yeah, I mean, him being healthy is key, but, the Niners lost Fred Warner. That'd be a problem, too. You need your best players to be out there playing.
Yeah, it's tough to. The thing is, almost every single player on the defense played bad. So people like, Jermaine didn't do good. It's like, okay, neither did Quinnen, and Quinnen's a top 3 defensive tackle in the league. So I can't really pick on any one player. Like CJ Mosley, we have him for 2 more years. He's 32. So over the course of those 2 years, are we going to see a decline? Sure. But I'll be honest, Shake, there have been multiple times during CJ's Jets tenure where there's like a 3-game stretch where I'm like, oh man, he's lost a step. And then he bounces back and he looks great for a month again. So CJ Mosley to me has earned the benefit of the doubt where until I see him play like a month plus of, subpar football, I'm going to assume that he's still a very good linebacker.
Yeah. You know who I thought made some plays? Jamian Sherwood. So I do think he's someone that, could fill in, and he's not Mosley necessarily, but I don't think they're like necessarily like, oh, this defense is going to be completely in shambles if Mosley had to miss some time.
Yeah. And he did. He was the green dot, as they say. He takes over for the play calling if Mosley can't go in there, which is obviously a big part of Mosley's contribution to the team. I think Chuck Clark in that way as well, because he was that player in Baltimore. But yeah, guys like Sherwood, Ashton Davis, they're solid sub package players for sure.
Hit the like button if you're tuning in. There's 500 of you watching right now. The J Quest says, Jake, we need more BJF. I'm telling you, BJF, you're always a highly requested guest. We're going to try and get him on as much as we can. He's a busy guy. I mean, the guy's a school teacher, for crying out loud.
Yeah, it's tough for me. Like your schedule is always like the complete opposite. Same when people on my channel, they say, get Ian from Jet Central. I'm like, I swear, as soon as I'm clocking out of work, Ian is clocking in. So probably tough for us to get like a set in stone thing, but we'll definitely be talking a lot over the season, man.
Yep, 100%. Make sure you guys subscribe to BJF if you haven't. He does a great job. Rational takes, really funny, great guy. So check that out. Rex Ryan writes in, 16-1, baby. JETS, Jets. Let's go eat a burger. All right, Rex. I love it. I love it. And just for you, Rex, all right? Just for you. I'm playing, where is it? I'm playing this.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby.
Let's go. Beat the Titans tomorrow, man. And then MetLife will be up for grabs on Thursday. The crowd will be insane. If they look good tomorrow and win, and they're going into this game Thursday with a chance to get the 2-1 and destroy the Patriots, I can't wait to be in the parking lot with my fellow Asmaniacs getting ready for this game at L5. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, there's that clip that goes around on Twitter every now and then. It was the 3rd down when the Jets were on defense before Aaron Rodgers got hurt in the opener last. And it was like
DJ Reed against Diggs on the matchup. Yep.
Yes, it was it sounded like a playoff game. It was so loud. So that energy exists in Jet fans. We just needed a reason for it. And yeah, being 1-1 on Thursday Night Football at home against the Patriots, Aaron Rodgers coming back to town, that would definitely do it. I mean, I think from a division standpoint, like obviously with Tua, your first concern is his health. You wonder about this if he's going to play again. I think that's probably it's reasonable to even to ask that question. But I think at a minimum, you're going to see him go on the 4-week IR. And I don't think the Dolphins are good enough to withstand a 4-game stretch of Skylar Thompson. So it almost becomes Jets and Bills at this point, And the Patriots are scrappy, but they have like a 7-win ceiling.
100%. What were your thoughts on what the Bills did? I mean, I obviously Tua health notwithstanding, I think people forget he was awful in the game before then. He got hurt when it was 31-10. So, the Bills to me, because they have Josh Allen, they were always dangerous. I think in the past they've been overrated. Now maybe they were a little underrated. going into this year because it's such a quarterback-driven league, and you can argue other than Mahomes, Allen's probably the second best, if not third best quarterback in the league right now. So what'd you make of the Bills doing what they did on Thursday?
Yeah, I've been waiting for that. The Bills have fallen off moment for a few years, but I think I just have to come to the realization that Sean McDermott always coaches up a solid defense, and Josh Allen is like a walking 40 touchdowns offense to himself. So I think, and then you look up and they're 2-0. They're 6 touchdown favorites at home against the Jaguars, and just like that, it's like, okay, they're right back to not missing a beat. And I do think that their offense under Joe Brady is a little bit more horizontally stressing and makes you tackle more, features the running backs and tight ends in the passing game, is actually probably makes it a better matchup against the Jets versus their last guy who would just like drop back and go, 4 verticals on 3rd and 6 and let our pass rush destroy Josh Allen. So they have a really high floor. I think the Bills, as long as they have Josh Allen, they're going to be like a 10-win team. I still will kind of want to wait and see how they handle missing Milano and Bernard and the turnover at safety and an offense without a true number 1 receiver. In terms of, I still think they're behind like the Chiefs and stuff like that, but they have a 1.5 game head start on the Jets, and they look like the best team in the division so far. So in a division where I was predicting like an 11-win tie between both teams, this early, the early voting is in. I think it's enough to where you'd say, okay, the Bills are probably the favorite until the Jets show you something else.
Yeah, that's why, hey, the Jets get the 4-1 going into that Bills game. You played the Bills well in that building the last 2 years with Zach Wilson at quarterback.
Right.
That's like the next big litmus test for this team, assuming, and you can't assume with the Jets, they got to actually do it. But if the Jets do what they're supposed to do and they win the games here, they're going to be favorites in. That game will be the first big litmus test this team will face since the Niners game on Monday.
Yeah, and you think that both teams should be within 1 game of each other, hopefully before that. So the winner would be in first place in the division, probably, is what I'm figuring.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. The Bills do have a murderer's row schedule coming up over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I when the Jets aren't playing, my number 1 thing is hate watching the Bills. I love when the Bills lose on Sunday, and I show up to work like super chipper and early, like, good morning, everyone. Hey, good morning. Hi, how's it going? And everyone's just depressed. Obviously, there's been more of the inverse moments since, but I'm hoping we get back on track, man. I really want to beat the Bills. They're my number 1 hated team. Now, most people would say the Dolphins now that the Patriots are gone, but obviously, by the name of my channel, you can figure out why I really want to beat the Bills, man.
Smash that like button if you want the Jets to beat the Bills and beat the Titans tomorrow. Subscribe to my channel and the Buffalo Jet Fans channel. All right, we're presented today by Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Asman and sign up. Underdog's got an awesome deal right now for every Jet fan out there. They're going to give you, if you're a new customer, a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. BJF, here's my official Underdog pick 'em play for tomorrow. I want your take on it here as I'll go full screen with it. So I have a freebie here that they offered for CD Lamb. They got a bunch of freebies, so take advantage, folks. If you haven't, all CD needs to do is have at least 1 yard. I'm assuming he'll do that. So that's 1 win right there. Okay. Now, my other 3 picks, all Jet related. Greg Zuerlein, higher than 1.5 extra points made. I think the Jets score at least 2 touchdowns, so I'm higher on that. Aaron Rodgers under 32.5 passing attempts. I saw there's some bad weather in the forecast. I think the Jets are going to try and have long, sustained drives where they run the ball, use Braylon Allen more potentially. So I think they'll throw more than Aaron did in the opener, but less than 32.5 times. And then finally, anytime I can get Garrett Wilson and the receptions is under 6, I'm playing the higher on that every time. So those are my picks. This was a $10 entry to win around $65. What's your take on my Jet Titans underdog pick here?
Sounds like a free $55 there, man. Yeah, I would definitely. I think the Jets scoring 3 touchdowns is the number I would guess. I'm with you there. Aaron Rodgers pass attempts, I'd probably put around like 28 would be my guess. So I'm good with an under there. Garrett Wilson, the Rodgers only threw 21 passes in week 1. 11 of them went to Garrett Wilson, over 50% of the targets. So, and he had 6 in week 1, and there was a miscommunication in a play where he got the ball out of bounds, and the offense only had 40 snaps. So, yeah, I would say, I don't know, if I had to guess on a number for Garrett, I would say like 8.5 would be where I'm at. So, I'm with you on all those.
Chat, did I cook? Let me know. Promo code Asman if you want to use.
If CeeDee Lamb gets blanked, is it a parlay? Do you get screwed if CeeDee Lamb somehow gets blanked, but the rest of them hit?
If CeeDee Lamb gets blanked, we win no money.
Oh man, come on, CD.
He needs one catch, man. One catch. That's it. Or
Can
they
it be
give
for
him an
negative
end around.
yards? Screen pass loses 2 yards. You're still good.
And well, the only thing that scares you, like, is like what happened last year with like Rodgers, right? Like opening drive, he's done. You know?
Yeah.
Crazy. Check it out, folks. Underdog Fantasy. A lot of fun to play along. You also could do things besides higher or lower. You could draft a fantasy team for just the Sunday games. You could do games for just the entire slate. So check it out. Underdog Fantasy back with us here for the start of the NFL season. All right, let's get to some calls before we say goodbye to the Buffalo Jet fan. Let's say hello to the great, the incomparable Kyle Clifton. What's up, Kyle?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Man.
So, two of the takeaways that I had from the 49ers game is we only had one sack for 5 sack yards, and we had 0 turnovers. I don't think that you're going to see that against the Tennessee Titans.
Correct.
When you have Will Levis in place. To paraphrase Rick Pitino, Brock Purdy's not walking through that door. George Kittle's not walking through that door. Brandon Ayuk's not walking through that door. So I think that we can plot for our defense if we can control the gaps and read our keys a little bit better and tune up the tackling to have a much better performance. And I think the weather only helps us. This is something where it's a must-win game, whether we realize it or not. And I expect that, some of the rust is going to get shaken off, and we're gonna take it to 1-1. That's all I had to say, fellas. Have a great weekend.
You're the man. I hope you're right. I do think the Jets win tomorrow. It's weird having confidence as a Jet fan, but if this team's who I think they are, talent-wise, this is a game you're going to win.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a repeat of that 2015 beatdown where there was the 5th season where they forgot to cover Brandon Marshall on that screen pass, and they had like 27 points in the first half at home against the Titans. So that's the kind of game we need. Must win. I guess I'll say this: like if they do lose and people are completely freaking out, I won't be able to like push back and try and calm you down. Like it'll be acceptable to be at a really high panic level if they lose and go to 0-2.
Yeah, so, and look, it season's not over, but it's hard to feel great about your team if you're 0-2 and you lost to Will Levis and the Titans. Like even with the Patriots coming up, that's not like if you could lose this game tomorrow, you could lose to anyone.
Right, but I don't care about style points either, man. Just figure out a way to win it.
Yeah, we've seen some of the ugliest wins you could have the last couple of years. Just win tomorrow. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Castro says, Robbie Sable is like watching paint dry. Buffalo Jet fan, much better. Couple things here. One, I'm a big Buffalo Jet fan. All right. And two, Robbie Sable is a good dude, Peter. All right. Yeah, he's a good dude. You gave him a $500 super chat about Alan Lazard. All right. You got to respect Robbie Sable. All right, Peter. That's the reason why Lazard's having a bounce back performance, because Peter Castro in June asked, has Lazard shown a pulse after an OTA practice?
Hey man, no, I'm not the biggest Lazard fan either, and people were saying, oh, he'll bounce back with Rodgers, and I'm like, man, like catching a ball is catching a ball, and then you're watching, you're like, hey, if he could be, I think he could at least be your wide receiver 3. I'm still not sold him as a number 2, but I think, all right, if he's your wide receiver 3 and like your 5th most targeted guy, because I think Conklin and Brees will eventually be ahead of him. That's cool. But by the way, Robbie, and Jet X Factor is the best $5 a month you could spend as a Jet fan. I don't sponsor them or anything. I'm just a Jet fan who's subscribed. The analytics, the film, Sabo, Nani, Blew It, and they're guys who like they'll give you the truth. Like Nani was telling guys forever, like Dalvin Cook is not going to be good, and people were eviscerating him for it, and he wasn't, because they just go by what the numbers and what the films say. So Jet X Factor is freaking awesome. Like not a lot of fan bases have like that kind of independent content where they're like a PFF for the Jets.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. So shout out to Jet X Factor. Those guys are awesome.
It's almost like why I have Robbie and Fialco on every week, man. I love it, baby. Love it.
Oh, yeah.
Hit the like button if you're tuning in. And shout out to Peter Castro for paying $5 to essentially roast Robbie Sabo. I'm a capitalist, so I definitely will read it. More of your calls right now. Jets fan for life is with us next. Hey, Jets fan.
Hey, what's up, Jake? Can you guys hear me good?
We hear you. Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, what's up? I want to talk about the 49ers win. I'm calling from Spain. I don't know if you remember me.
That's right.
Times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I called a couple of times. Well, I was up to 5:30 in the morning.
I'm sorry.
I was disgusted. Disgusted. I don't know what it is. Win or lose, this week against the Titans, we have to make. It's got to be a statement move. We showed up with our asses out, heads down. Gardner was on the sideline looking like he was a lost puppy. I mean, I don't know what it is. Hackett has to go.
Well,
it was so predictable.
I know, but it's it's a tough spot. It's the opponent, the fact that you didn't play in the preseason. Aaron's first game back in a year and a half. They just didn't have the ball long enough either. I'm way more down on the defense than I am the offense. I thought the pass protection was really good. I thought Rodgers at times looked like Aaron Rodgers. Like, to me, there's enough positives there where now that you're playing a massive step down in the competition, this should look a lot different tomorrow if they're the team we think they are.
Exactly. So when people say that it doesn't matter how we win, just win. No, this has got to be a statement. We have to. I stayed up late watching the 49ers game. I was like, listen, win or lose, the fact that we lost the way we lost is kind of embarrassing. Hackett is so predictable.
But they just got to win tomorrow. You know what I mean? I get it. You just got to win tomorrow. Like they could win 3-0, and while we wouldn't be celebrating it necessarily, you don't give the wins back. As this team is trying to figure it out, these first 4 games are kind of like preseason because they didn't play in the preseason, but the games all still count. So you could win ugly tomorrow. That's fine. Just win the game. And then you have a short week, and then you win that one. You could reset for 10 days before you then play a rookie quarterback in your building you should beat again.
Absolutely, because we can't go 0-2 with Buffalo 2-0 and everything. Miami doesn't look like it, hopefully, Tua's health, gets better. I mean, it's his future on the line. New England, their defense is tough. They pulled out a tough win. They're scrappy, and we have lost heartbreakers to New England, even when they didn't have Tom Brady, even when they had their worst quarterback in the game. We have done that. We can't go 0-2. It's got to be, they just got to strap it up and just win. And I think the fact that we don't have Reddick, I don't think it's because of Joe Douglas. Why give up? Why even trade for him? I think the owners are saying, no, don't give him the money. Because why not? How many teams?
He wants a lot of money.
I know he does want a lot of money, but there's teams that have given up their future. It's a win now. Because if he doesn't win now, he's gone. So what does he care? Spend the money. Unless the owner's telling him no, don't give him the money.
Yeah,
what is it? We want to win now. We have Rodgers. We don't have a 22-year-old quarterback. We have Rodgers at 40 years old that we don't know if we're going to have him next year. So why not spend it? Let's invest. Let's invest in today instead of worrying about the future. Because we haven't won in 50-something years.
I know. I get it, my man. I appreciate the call, and God bless you for having to get up at 5 a.m. to watch the Jets out in Spain. The Reddick stuff, we don't know all the details.
Right? What is he asking for? What specific contract? What if he's asking for 3 years, $28 million a year? You can't do that. I don't know. It's hard without that piece of information. You don't know. By the way, if we fire Hackett, Todd Downing is calling plays. So that would be like changing your shirt because you pooped your pants, right? That's not helping you. But I don't know with Reddick, man. I would love for him to be on the team, man. I think he's a really good player and it would definitely help a lot. But I don't know, man. I'm all Reddick. All my takes on Reddick have been given, man. I got nothing more to say. It's just unfortunate. It sucks.
Yeah, the whole thing sucks, but we can't sit here and act as though giving a guy who's never played for the team at age 30 a 3-year deal with all this money is the right move. It also at this point sends the worst possible message ever to the rest of the locker room if you reward this guy with a new deal after how he's acted.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Reddick there's a lot of things that don't make sense, but the thing I keep coming back to is if there was a team that was willing to give him all this money and it was just the Jets that were being crazy and undervaluing him and lowballing him, why didn't he negotiate a trade to that team in the first place? Right? And then they would have already given him that extension immediately and this would have been done. So I think if I had to guess, he saw an opportunity to sneak onto the Jets and try and catch them being a desperate all-in team that would pay them the money. Now, I don't want to completely slander Haason Reddick because I don't know. I'm just saying that seems like maybe a reasonable case of what happened, not connecting the dots. But look, man, if he shows up tomorrow and they figured out a contract, all is forgiven. I want the Jets to win more than I want to stick it to Haason Reddick and his agent. So if he shows up tomorrow, it's all good, brother. Go get the quarterback.
Amen. Jay Quest says if 0-2, Jay Quest will have to eat cat food, just win. Jay Quest is like $500 on the Jets winning tomorrow. He'll be broke. Joe Mike says Jets got out coach. Guess what? Shanahan has a great record against his pupils. 9-1 versus McMay, 3-0 versus LaFleur in the playoffs. Salah was next. I mean, Shanahan is a phenomenal. I almost feel like so much of this week has been about like what's wrong with the Jets and not enough of, hey, the Niners are really, really good, you know?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I will push back on that a little bit and say like the glaze session of the 49ers from us Jet fans for like a week straight of like, what did you, of course they were going to bitch us for 4 quarters, but like, no, none of us were saying going into the game that we were going to get dog walked by for the whole time. So obviously they're a really good team, but if there was a game that you wanted to get blown out, you'd want it to be against a non-conference opponent, against the best opponent in that conference, and the first game of the year.
Yep.
Right.
It humbles you. Yeah.
Yeah. You get one. Every team gets one. Don't do it again. But that was the one that it would, because you figured it was, I think it was the game they were the biggest betting underdog of the whole season so far with the schedule out right now. So it's like, okay, if it's going to be a loss, might as well just take your ugliest loss then and go ahead and move on. But no, man, and the same thing last year. Like we were 1-0. And I remember doing the post-game show and everyone's telling me, you should be happy. You should love this. We're 1-0. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, guys, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but the season is over. And then after the Niners, I'm like kind of feeling like, okay, you know, and people want me to be really down. And I'm like, no, but dude, like we're favored the next 4 games we have Aaron Rodgers. So I think it's like a little bit, we overreacted both week ones the last 2 years, and I think we'll come back to the middle after we win tomorrow, hopefully.
Mike says the Jets got slapped in the cafeteria in front of the hottest girl in school.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good metaphor there.
Well, the good news is we're like Spider-Man, all right? We got Tobey Maguire. He's about to bag Kirsten Dunst, and it starts tomorrow, so get ready.
I don't know if this is a hot take or this is just millennial nostalgia, but I think Tobey Maguire was the best Spider-Man.
So I have a unique take on this. I think he was the best Spider-Man as far as like playing the character with the suit on. I think Tom Holland might have been the best Peter Parker.
Okay, I can live with that.
But I mean, OG Spider-Man, like give me that 2002 OG trilogy every time. Although the third one sucked, but the first 2 were all-timers.
Oh yeah, Hoobastank on the playlist. It was just, I think my life was just better then, and I'm projecting it onto that. Like the Jets had, what was it, the Chad Pennington, early Herm Edwards years.
They were division champs
in the playoffs. Yeah, that's what it really is.
That's what it's all about. Well, BJF, I can't thank you enough for your time today, man. Thanks for hopping on. We'll do this again soon. And, certainly I hope the Jets get us a win tomorrow, a win on Thursday, and, all will be forgotten with this week 1 loss so they get the 2-1 and go from there.
Oh, yeah. The next time I see you guys, we're going to be at least 2-1. Enjoy the game, everybody. Jake, as always, we'll talk soon, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Buffalo Jet fan checking in. Make sure you guys subscribe to his channel. Hit the like button. If you're tuning in right now, comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. See you guys tomorrow at T-Squared Social. Make sure you RSVP. If you haven't done so already, let's get some more of your calls right now. We say hello to Mario, who's next. Hey, Mario.
What's up, Jake?
What's going on, dude?
What I was thinking for tomorrow's game is I was wondering, like, tight end. So last game, how many catches did Conklin and Ruckert have? Was it 0?
I think Conklin only had like 1, and it didn't come till Tyrod was in.
Oh, yeah. So that's what I'm like looking forward to. Obviously, you want to get like Wilson and Brees the ball a lot because they're your playmakers. But I feel like just forcing them to block and not using like Conklin, I think he's one of the more underrated receiving tight ends in the league. So I want to hear your point of view with that.
Completely agree. I think they need another pass catcher besides Garrett and Lazard to emerge tomorrow. I think you look for Conklin to get involved early. They said they want to play Mike Williams more. Maybe get him involved. I mean, he played 9 plays in the opener. I expect him to play more than that tomorrow, but I think spreading it out will be way more apparent because they'll have more plays. I mean, Aaron only had 38 total snaps in this game on Monday.
For sure. And stat line prediction from you? Do you have any ideas for the offense? Like
I think they're going to score 24 points. I think Aaron throws 2 touchdowns. Brees gets another rushing touchdown. Zerline gets a field goal. I'll say Garrett gets his first 100-yard receiving game of the year, and I'll say he finds the end zone, and then Conklin gets the other touchdown. So those are the two I'm just throwing out there.
Wilson will start his path to the 28 touchdown mark that Dre wants.
28 touchdown island. We took the first game off, but now the run begins tomorrow.
All right. Good to see you, Jake.
You too, man. Great call. Keep it rolling here. Let's go to Tim from Fishland. Hey, Tim.
What's going on, Jake?
What's up, Tim?
Thinking about this game, I want them to put the defense on the field first. Okay? Make a statement. Kick the ball off to them if you win the coin toss. Make a statement. Get a 3 and out. Then let Rodgers methodically go downfield, score a touchdown, and then the same thing over and over. Suffocate the Titans' defense or offense completely. I believe that I got a parlay going with Hard Rock. I believe that Conklin's going to score. I believe that Alan Lazard's going to score.
Ooh.
And I believe that the receiver for the Titans, Boyd, he's going to score. They score off $5. If all 3 of them score, $5 wins me like $350. So we'll see what happens on that. That's to me, that's their key to success. I believe after those 2 touchdowns, because I believe he's going to throw 2 touchdowns in this game. It's going to be either Braylon Allen or Brees Hall who's going to score another touchdown on the ground, and then there's going to be a field goal. I believe it's going to be 24-14. That's the score. I want to see them use Brees and Braylon in pony packages. You know what I mean? Like 2 halfback split right next to Rodgers. I want to see them both on the field.
Sure.
Because that adds more of a dynamic, especially with the play action. And if you got some motion going on, it can confuse people. Kind of like how LaFleur used in 2022, Brees Hall and Michael Carter.
Yeah, I'm on board with some of that too. I hope there's more creativity in this offense tomorrow. I'm going to withhold judgment until we see it for more than 1 game against not the
And
Niners,
I'd like to see Mike Williams out there more because he's going to draw coverage. Same thing. I think Garrett will have some stuff, but I don't think Garrett's going to be going over 100 yards because he's got Snead on him. I think Snead's going to try to play press man on him all day and try to knock off the timing with Rodgers. So you're going to have to go to the ball with somebody else. I don't believe that the Titans linebackers are all that great. So that's why I believe Conklin's going to have a touchdown.
Sign me up, Tim. Just win the game. That's all that matters.
That's what it all matters. You got to win the game. Just don't focus on 5-1 going into the Bill game. Just go 1-0 every week. 1-0 every week. Don't get ahead of yourself. All right. This is the NFL. Anything can happen on any given Sunday.
Tim, amen. Great call. Just win the game, man. Sometimes you got to win ugly. More of your calls right now.
V-Man is here. How we feeling?
High as a kite.
Hello, V-Man.
Hey, Jake. How you doing?
You tell me.
Good. I got to say this, though, about the Tobey Maguire thing. My big gripe with him is he never had any good quips outside of that's a cute outfit. Did your husband make it for you? That's like the only good quip he has as Spider-Man. I'm sorry.
I got to think about that. You might not be wrong.
It's like I'm gonna say this probably Garfield. I think had the best quips of them all.
Garfield, really?
Yeah, it's like my favorite one is like when the scene like when he pulls him out when he climbs out the car and the guy pulls out a knife. Is that a knife? It's my only weakness is small knives, and he just immediately webs him. It's just like that's just fun. It's like he because that's the thing with Spider-Man is that Peter Parker is awkward and geeky, but Spider-Man's supposed to be like pretty much the exact opposite. Like confident to the point of cockiness. He loves to spew quips. It's his way of, coping with the insanity of the situation.
Kind of like you.
But no, getting back to this game, like I agree with a lot of the takes. Like, yeah, we need to have the mindset of just being just win this game and we move on to the next one. Just win this game, move on to the next one. Whether, and I don't, and like, yeah, we gotta remember we played the Niners. They are the cream of the crop of the NFC. So we need to stop worrying about that and just look at what's ahead of us. Because this is a Titans team we shouldn't have trouble beating. The weather's gonna probably make it a bit sloppy, but we should be able. But the better teams are going to be better equipped for those situations.
Yeah, look, if the Jets are the team we think they are, this is the game you find a way to win. And there's a reason why Aaron Rodgers has never been 0-2 in his career. He's lost a lot of week ones, but then he plays really well in week 2 if you look at his career numbers.
I agree. No, I agree. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this game, and I think it's going to – and I think we're going to come out with a statement and just punch him right in the mouth.
Genergy wants to know, V-Man, are you coming tomorrow? Genergy wants to meet you.
No, I can't. Like I said, I'm going to be exhausted from work, so I'm going to be probably getting up just in time to catch the game.
As long as you're awake, all right, because we need you on the post-game show with your takes.
Yeah, all right. Talk to you later.
Well, V-Man, you have a great Saturday, all right?
Peace. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, a V-Man call on a Saturday program. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Because, folks, what we have right now is one of the best things that can happen on this show. Something we like to call a Mike D's Nuts explosion.
Bang! Thank you, Mike D's Nuts, for another gifted membership.
Oh, yeah. Mongo, Horse Punch, Brandon Hare, Mike Jets 12, Andrew Kemp, Travis Dukes. You all received the first gifted memberships of the show. Who's next? Make sure you click on Mike's name. Turn on gift receipts if you haven't. If you want a gifted membership, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button and like the video, turn on gift receipts, and get lucky. YouTube algorithm rewards the most dedicated Jake Asman Show listeners. Thank you, Mike, for your incredible support, as always. More of your calls right now. Devin's on the line. Hey, Devin.
Hey, Jake. What's going on, man? Can you hear me?
What's up? Oh, yeah. Love the shirt.
Appreciate that, brother. Hey, I wanted to meet BJF, man. I like his takes. Very, very grounded guy, man. I really appreciate that. Not that you're not grounded, you're my dude. I got onto this whole YouTube situation because of you, so I'll always appreciate that. But
Thanks,
man, I got a couple of questions though, bro. LT3, man, is he gonna be? Do you know if he's gonna be active for this game or not?
They haven't said. No, they haven't said. It seems like they were somewhat happy with how Jalen Holmes played. Some people that watched the All-22 said that he wasn't bad, so I don't know if LT3 necessarily has a spot tomorrow. I guess we'll see.
Dude, but that dude's impressive, man. Like, I feel like the Jets are always behind the curve when it comes to our rookies. Like, we just baby them too much. Like, these guys can handle a lot more. Braylon Allen could have handled a lot more of that load last week. And I know I'm not going to rehash everything that you said because I agree with it. You know what I mean? But I was just like, I'm pissed off, bro, because this is not to say, yeah, must-win game in week 2. No, I'm looking at it as, no, we have to win this game. We should win this game. Like, I had expectations, and I was not bullshitting when I said I want to go 20-0. I was not playing because I feel like our defense, if they play to their standard, they have the ability to hold teams to 20 points or less. Like, I really do truly believe that in my heart. Now, this is a game where the Titans are whatever, dude. A second-year quarterback, if we can't make him look like shit, I'm going to have some serious concerns. I already have concerns about Hackett. I've been trying to, put on my Jets mask and be like, oh, yeah, you know what? He's going to get it. He's going to figure it out. But when I saw run pass last week, I was so fucking pissed off, bro. I was like, yo, what the hell? What the hell? Like, run pass. What? Run pass right up the middle? We're getting nothing? Like, play action. Like, the box was out. And this is the other thing. I was, taking it back with AR, too, because I was like, the one thing we kept saying, oh, AR sees a stacked box. We're going to get right the hell out of that. And we saw stacked boxes, and he still didn't, play, adjust the play call. And I'm like, that was kind of like, I was like, first game, all right, I'm gonna chalk that up to first game nerves. Even AR, great ones have nerves as well. I'm gonna chalk that up to that. But I don't want to see run pass, bro. Like if our first fucking play is not play action or a passing play, like last week I felt like we could have passed to set up the run. Sometimes you could do that. You don't necessarily always have to be run to set up the pass. It could be pass to set up the run. Have the defense step back a little bit, and now we got running lanes for Brees. That kind of like infuriated me, man. So I'm expecting a win tomorrow, man. I'm not taking off my, I'm going 19-1 now. I'm gonna keep that positivity. You know what I'm saying? But like, we got to do this tomorrow, man. I appreciate you, Jake, and I gotta try to catch BFJ because he doesn't do too many live streams like this. I always check out his stuff, but he doesn't do too many live streams. But I appreciate you, brother, man, and let's go Jets. 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 Let's go.
Let's go, Devin. Yeah, I mean, look, it's one game, man. One game. They didn't play in the preseason offensively. You have basically 5 new offensive line starters out there. AVT is the only holdover, and he was moved around the last couple of years. He's coming off injury. Everyone's talking about Rodgers' first game back. AVT as well. He'll be better in the run game. That will open some things up. They need more plays. They'll be okay. You're not playing the Niners tomorrow. That's big. Folks, my Patreon has bonus content available every week. You get Discord access. If you're going to this Titans game, earlier today I posted info about a tailgate that you could go to. So join the Discord if you want access to that. We'll have meetup plans for all the road games, info about this show before the general public. You can connect with your fellow Jet fans. That's just in the Discord. You also get access to a 15% discount in the jakeasman.com merch store. So if you plan on buying any merch, you're going to save more than $5 with the discount code. So you might as well join the Patreon and take full advantage. You're basically getting the first month for free. It's patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Huge shout out to everyone who supports me there. It goes a tremendous way towards allowing me to do this full time. John Marquez, Harlan Wobb, and NY Jets 48 are 3 most recent Patreon subscribers. All right, we'll stay on a little while longer. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in here on a Saturday. The Buffalo Jet fan was on with us for the first hour of today's program. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. And a reminder, if you haven't done so already, RSVP if you're coming out tomorrow for an epic watch party at T Squared Social in Midtown.
The yellow line and the goal line. Hand off to Hall. Touchdown Jets. They're going to get a free play. Rodgers is the master at it, and a touchdown by Lazard.
Let's go, man. Let's go. RSVP if you're coming out. Also worth noting, the weather did apparently clear up tomorrow, so no rain is now actually expected in this forecast, which I think is good for the Jets. I think a muddy, nasty game is better for the team that's not as good. Jets have the better talent. So if it's more of a true football game, I think that benefits the Jets, Jets. That's how I look at it. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is someone who will be at our watch party tomorrow afternoon. We say hello to the biggest Qantas Stiggers fan that has ever lived. Nate, parentheses Nate. Hello, Nate. There it is. Look at that jersey. Nate, you got to unmute your mic, though.
Test 1 2 3. Qantas Stiggers 1 2 3.
There you go.
Better. Big game tomorrow. I'm curious to see who would get the start. Obviously, if Reed is out, but I'm hoping you can play. Before I get to my Jets points, Jake, you're a Knicks fan, and there was a big topic yesterday on the show. I got to ask you this one question. We don't got to go back and forth. Did Michael Jordan get dunked on by John Starks?
I guess it depends on the angle of the play you look at, right?
Fair. I don't want to get too much into it. It was like 2 hours last night. So
was this a Gary argument?
It was Gary. It was Nick Shine. It was Knicks fans. It was Clancy. Everyone, he got dunked on. Like, obviously, I think he didn't get dunked on. Wasn't even in the play. He dunked late, but he's in the play. He didn't get dunked on. They're two different things.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, here's the thing: like we all love John Starks. We all love the Starks dunk. They lost that series, so it's like tough to like, you know.
Yeah. It was not. I mean, it's a great dunk though. It is a great dunk on Horace Grant for sure. BJF is great. I definitely want to talk to him sometime. He made the same point I made yesterday to Neil. I wish he was there to argue with Neil. Like we just don't know. We don't know what the Reddick situation. If he wants 3 years, 25-30 million a year, we can't do that. We're not sure. Oh yeah, I forgot King Losky was there. He came in and got really loud, of course. And he also, the other interesting point BJF made, he said if Hackett and Salah was available, would we want them as Jets fans? And I think that's at this point it's an absolute no. I don't think I'm all the way like on like the Gary Allen side of how much I'm not confident in Salah, but like if Salah is good and the D line is good, I think we're going to be good. But what if Salah is not a great coach, and what if the D line, after losing JFM, Al Woods, Jefferson, Huff, and replacing it with Kinlaw, is just not a top 10 unit? Like we don't have Reddick right now. We don't know if we're ever going to have Reddick. So it's like if we're rolling with the guys we have right now, what if the defensive line is not that great? What if Salah is not that great?
I mean, he's kind of proved he is pretty great at coaching defense the last 2 years. No, like even if they're not a top 3 defense, we think they're not going to be a top 10 defense. Like they still have an all-pro corner, an elite number 2 corner, an elite nickel, 2 damn good linebackers. One of them who was first team all-pro last year. Jermaine Johnson was a Pro Bowler last year. Like there's still too much talent for them to just
they have plenty. There's a lot of talent. I'm just worried that like if we have I don't want to have a weakness, or like if we're not a top 10 defensive line, I'm going to run the ball down our throats. And like, it's going to be a lot of San Francisco's kind of keep running it until they have to stack the box on us. And then kind of make Mosley and those guys cover in the middle of the field. And just like, there's almost
if the defense is not as good, Nate, then the offense needs to go from 32nd to top 10 and maybe high. You know what I mean? Like there's ways to balance it out.
Like we're talking Super Bowl year. Like if we just want to make the playoffs, sure, we'll sit for where like we'll settle. But like if we want a Super Bowl team, like we saw like the defensive lines are always great in the Super Bowl. It's always about getting pressure on the quarterback in January. And so I'm just that my eyes will be all over the defense, like all over the defensive line to see who can get pressure. The other question I had for BJF, but I guess I'll ask it to you too. Like we seem to be pretty stubborn in how we play our coverage, and we just like we saw we didn't make a lot of adjustments last week. I know we're in the 3rd year of our defense, and that probably helps our defense. You know, guys are easy to communicate. They know how to pass off routes and whatever. But it's like at some point, is it also easier for the offenses to attack? It's almost like a pitcher and a hitter. Like once the hitter's in the league for a while and they kind of know, he can't hit the slider low and away. It's like Pete Alonso hasn't had as many 50 homer seasons. It's just. Is it the same thing in football where it's like, do we have to make adjustments at some point on defense, or are we just going to be like, we're the best in our coverage and we're going to send 4 every time? And like we saw it on Sunday, we were down 2 or 3 touchdowns with the same defense. All it was just sending 4, playing coverage, and just kind of letting them, like someone said it, or maybe you said it, death by 1,000 paper cuts, 6 or 7 yards at a time, was just like super, super tough to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like we're 1 game in. Let's take a breath. I still have a lot of confidence in the talent on this team. It was a bad matchup for the Jets on opening night. Teams get boat raced all the time. It's magnified because it's week 1. This team, I think, has shown us enough, especially on defense, that they're well coached. They have high character in that room. I expect a much better performance tomorrow. If they don't, then everything we're talking about with the coach and all that's on the table. But let's see how they look tomorrow. I expect them to bounce back.
Yeah, I mean, despite everything I'm saying, I agree with that. I think they're going to win by 2 touchdowns. So it should be. I'm just like Jets fans nervous of like this isn't like the 2nd year of Rex Ryan where I'm like, all right, we got a coach, we got a defense. I'm just like Salah is still a question mark. So I just want to be proven that he can coach.
But he won 7 games last year with the worst quarterback situation in the NFL. So it's like he's proven that he could get the team to play without a quarterback. Now they have a quarterback. So I think the defense needed to be humbled. I think they play much better. I think they tackle better. I think the biggest issue they had was they missed 18 tackles. They make some of these tackles, they're off the field. The Niners aren't scoring on 8 straight possessions.
Yeah, 2 turnovers, missed tackles. There was a lot of stuff going on that hopefully shouldn't happen against the Tennessee Titans. We should walk away with a W. And it sounds like, I hope we take over that stadium. I don't know if you've seen pictures of Nashville.
Oh,
It looks
yeah.
like
A
Jets fans.
lot of
Like
Jet fans, man. A lot of Jet
the
fans.
bars got Jets flags. Like there's Jets fans all over. The tickets are like 40, but I don't know how passionate Tennessee fans are about Will Levis and their home opener, but I hope the Jets fans are able to take over. And by the third quarter, we hear a lot of JETS chants and Rodgers is celebrating and Garrett's doing planes on the field. Like I'm imagining that's how it's go, but like as you know, we're Jets fans. That's there's always in that back of my mind that little pessimistic thought. I'm not as deep in J Quest, but I got a big bet on the money line tomorrow too. So it's like I'm all in. I'm all in for tomorrow, and I will see you at 12:30. I'll be there for my reservation. If anyone wants to DM me, might have a couple extra spots at my my table I reserved, so we could actually sit for the game this time. But it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it, Jake.
Love it. Nate, you're the man. I will see you tomorrow. And I'll say this. We're nervous because it's like, it's the Jets. You know, they could easily lose, but we also haven't entered a game with this big of an advantage at quarterback in a long, long time. Seriously. Will Levis versus Aaron Rodgers? Like, got to win the game. We break down matchups. We talk about this, that. Sometimes it's just who's your quarterback. One team has a guy who's got the lowest completion percentage in the NFL since he's been a starter. The other team's got Aaron Rodgers, who at times looked like vintage Aaron Rodgers in his first game in a year and a half. I expect Aaron to play well tomorrow. Devin checks in with a super chat. He says, Jake, where in Patreon can I find the discount code? I'm about to buy some more swag. If you go on the dashboard, Devin, right when you join the Patreon, right, where the Discord link is pinned, there's also a link that tells you, or not a link, but there's also a little sentence in that little blurb there on the dashboard that tells you what the discount code is. But I'll make it easy for you. If you can't find it, just shoot me a message on Discord or Patreon, and I'll give it to you. BP writes in with an Asmaniac super chat. For some reason, it isn't allowing me to gift membership, so I'll try to buy 5 drinks tomorrow at T12 or T squared, excuse me, for some Asmaniacs. I love it. You can't gift from the phone, BP, so maybe that's why. You got to be on a desktop if you're trying to gift. But thank you for the membership gifts. Appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike D's Nuts with a $20 super chat. Boom. Jordan did not get dunked on. Jake, get the steak on me, bro. New York media is so toxic. It's one game. Relax, everyone. Jets will bounce back 24-17. Meatball subs and wings tomorrow. Jets. Let's go, Mike. I love it. It is one game. It's magnified because it's week 1, but I'm going to take a breath. This team is too good to not be much better than what they showed on Monday. And despite the loss, a win tomorrow, all of a sudden you're 1-1 going into the home opener. You're going to be a favorite in that game. Crowd's going to be nuts. And everyone can take a deep breath. One last call before we wrap our Saturday program today. We say good afternoon to someone I will be sitting next to next Thursday night at the Jet home opener. We say hello to Neil, who joins us now. Hello, Neil.
What's up, Jake?
Neil, how we feeling?
I feel great. I feel ready.
How's your wife doing?
Doing a little bit better, little by little. You know, it's not an easy surgery. She's got a swollen leg, and she's sitting in the chair, ordering me around. Nate, you better have a nice seat for me in case I can't sit next to Jake tomorrow. I don't know with the situation, although I won't be standing very much. I mean, sitting very much. I don't anticipate sitting. Maybe before the game, I'll get a little tired after a few Jet chants. What is the? They have like food there. What's the story with food and all?
Oh yeah, food's great. People love the wings. The burgers were a big seller, I was told last week. The personal pies, the pizzas, people like that as well. So really good food selection. I think you'll like it.
You got somewhere to sit with me and Rob. Come, I'm taking Rob with me.
Big Rob, is he gonna have you go on his shoulders? Is that the plan?
I'm driving him in, so he better do something.
I love it.
Put him to work. I don't know, man. That would be he's a big man. I think I'll just go on the bar. I mean, I hope they don't throw you out.
No, you'll be fine. They know who you are.
We'll figure it out. But I understand that both Carter and Reed might be out tomorrow. Is that what you're hearing?
Carter's going to play, is my understanding. Reed is questionable.
Hearing Carter and Reed, but I don't care.
He's not on the injury report, though. He's not even listed as.
Well, they said he has a high ankle sprain. That's going to slow him down,
But it's not to a point where he's actually going into this game, listed as questionable or has an injury designation, which means he's going to play.
I mean, I'm assuming Leonard Carter III is going to be active.
Leonard Taylor, maybe.
Taylor, right? Especially isn't Clemens going to be out too?
Clemens is questionable, but he's probably going to play. He was a full participant in a practice yesterday.
Well, I would assume that we have Carter in there. I mean, I want to see this guy next to Quinn. I want to see some beef. I want to see a little beef in the middle. And I'm totally confident about tomorrow. I think we're going to be fine. I'm excited about how many RSVPs? As much as last week? Less?
No, last week we had like 500. This week we're way under that, but we do have a ton of people.
All right,
coming.
we got the real fans coming tomorrow.
Yes,
right. Not the homers that want to see the opening day. We got real fans coming tomorrow.
The real diehards.
The diehards. We got a lot of diehards coming. All right, so I don't have much more to add. I just wanted to say hello. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Look forward to seeing a lot of people. Nate, I don't want to sit with you, you son of a b. He said he don't want to sit with me. Oh, no. Last seat is mine. Thank you, Nate. I appreciate that.
There we go.
But I'm going to sit, we'll figure it out. Okay. I'm sure I won't have a problem finding the seat if I need it. But we're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow. What's the cigar situation? I could smoke outside the door. Is it like a door here?
Yeah, Victory cigars, baby.
No, pre-game cigar. What time is brunch? 10? What time is brunch?
I don't know what time they actually open. I'll be there by 12 though, so don't worry.
Yeah, I'm picking up. Rob's coming to me at 11, so we'll be there before 12. I'm going to drive in. I don't think I'm going to take a train, even though it's quick for me by train, but I got to drive in so I could have a cigar on the way, finish it in front, get myself ready.
Jets football. Aaron Rodgers. It's happening.
It's happening, baby. Aaron, I got 2 Rodgers jerseys last year, right? I got a 2X because I like them big. And then somebody got me an Aaron Rodgers jersey, a freaking 3X. I mean, Jesus. I might have to put it on Rob. No offense to Rob, but, he could fill it out. He's got some beef. Not fat, but beef. I have no beef. That 3X is going to look like a dress on me. I hate tucking in my jersey, but I think I'm going to have to tuck it in and put some pads on.
I love it. You gotta just dress up as a full Jet.
I'm gonna. Who's the guy that has that visor that comes on once in a while? He has that dark visor, that Jet. Remember that guy?
Well, so Boba Jet, who was actually at the watch party on Monday, and he put a Jake Asman Show sticker on his helmet, which was great.
He had that helmet with the dark visor in front.
So there's Jimmy in Seattle who wears the Jet helmet, and then there's Boba Jet who has like from Star Wars the Boba the bounty hunter helmet, which is sick.
How about Papa Asman? Is he thinking about coming? I could drive him in if he wants.
Steve Asman will be there, Neil, so you can smoke a cigar with him. He'll be there.
Yep. If he wants to drive by me, I'll bring him in. Maybe I'll talk to him offline. I'll figure out if he wants to drive in with me and Robin. We won't. I don't imagine we'll hit too much traffic. What about post-game celebration? If we stay, are we going to watch the 4:00 games? Or we have?
You could stay. I'm on the radio right after the game.
Shit.
So I'm hustling. I'm hustling to ESPN to do my show from 4:45ish around whenever the Mets game is done post game till 7, and then I'll do the post game on YouTube around 7:38 tomorrow.
I listened to a little Beningo on the way home from golf. The OGs are really nervous, man.
He always is. That's his show.
Oh no, but the guys that call in, he has a lot of like the OG guys like me that call into the show, when he's on. And, they're all super pumped about the Mets. I'm excited about the Mets, but, the Mets is past time for me to get the football season, whatever they do. I mean, I couldn't believe I can't believe the way they're playing. I just can't believe it.
It's amazing. How about last night? Nimmo going deep. I mean, crazy. Alvarez.
It's unbelievable.
I know.
I mean, they usually stink up the joint. They get no hit for 4 innings. You think they're going to fall apart, and all of a sudden, bing, bang, boom, boom, they got 11 runs. I mean, it's been pretty interesting. I got to tell you, the staff, this David Peterson, they have 3 quality left-handed starters. That's very rare in the league to have 3 quality lefties. They have Minaya, they have Quintana, and they have Peterson. This guy Peterson, I thought was a joke, and he's pitching lights out. I mean, it's unbelievable. If they get Singa back, they have as good a staff. And this guy Minaya, he's been great. I have to say, the coach has been really, really great. He's calling it nice. All right, I got business on the line. We'll talk later. I'll see everybody tomorrow.
Neil, all the love.
These goddamn exploding cigars. I gotta go, Jake. I'll call back later. Shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, Neil will be in the house tomorrow. Will you? Will you be there? For the magic of it all? Yeah, it's all happening. All of it. Ladies and gentlemen, a couple super chats here. Devin says, got it. Thanks. There you go, Devin. JakeAsman.com. Get your merch, people. Mike D's Nuts checks in with a super chat. Nick fans coping for all those L's. Hold that double Nick. Are you a Bulls fan, Mike? I don't understand the Nick hate. I don't know. I also don't understand why Nate asked me about John Starks. What a random question. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button on your way out of here. What a show it's been. A Saturday show, the likes of which we haven't seen in quite some time. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Sign up, get in the Discord, keep the Jet conversation rolling all throughout the year. Jets at Titans watch party tomorrow. I will see you there. It will be epic. A time will be had, that's for sure. Folks, Jets just got to win. That's it. Doesn't matter how. Got to get it done. Have to get the W. Tom writes in, Jake, is Carly staying longer than the first quarter tomorrow? I don't know. I would hope, Tom, but she might be too cool for all of us. Anyway, what a show it's been. I sounded like Charles there. Anyway, hope everyone has a great Saturday. Enjoy the college football to get you set for the NFL slate tomorrow. We're getting after it. T-Squared Social for the watch party. I'm on ESPN right after the game on ESPN New York till around 7. Then I'll hustle back and do the post-game show tomorrow night. Normally, we're live right after the game, but due to my radio commitments, we'll be live after the radio show. So if you want my initial thoughts on this game tomorrow, download the ESPN New York app or go to 8:80 a.m. and you can hear me around 4:45, 5 o'clock. Whenever the Mets broadcast ends on 8:80, that's when I'm on till 7. So keep that in mind if you want my immediate thoughts on this Jet game tomorrow when it wraps. And they better win. Needless to say. They better win. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, as we get out of here, we send our best wishes to Tua in his recovery. And I also would like to play this. Have a good Saturday, everybody. Go Jets. The goal's 1-1. How they do it doesn't matter. Just get her done. Talk to you guys soon. Let's go, baby.
The Dolphins are done. Their season is over. Tua, another concussion. You know why? You need an offensive line, you moron! And then this Mike McDaniel, he has no balls. He has no brains. He is an overrated piece of shit. The worst coach in the league. This team is pathetic, putrid, heartless, gutless, ballless, everything else.
Great game. I know Aaron Rodgers did well tonight. Look, it's only one game. Everybody's complaining that the season's over. Week 2, they're playing Tennessee. We're going to win. I guarantee that they're going to win 37-29.